March 31st, 1998, StarCraft releases with a robust map editor. Aeon of Strife, created by Gunnar Forever in 2001, is the first MOBA mode to ever exist, inspired by past games with a somewhat similar concept, such as Herzog Zwei in 1989 and Future Cop LAPD in 1998. July 2nd, 2002, Warcraft 3 releases. Aeon of Strife is ported over from StarCraft to Warcraft 3 on the new map editor and engine. An arms race of various spin-off maps based on Aeon of Strife emerges, adding core MOBA elements like item shops, leveling, spells, last hits, and more. Defense of the Ancients, created by modder Eul, stands above the rest and rises meteorically to stardom. The original Warcraft 3 DotA pioneered the modern MOBA formula we know today: 3 lanes, creep waves, the jungle, items, heroes, etc. Eul releases DOTA's source code to the public, then vanishes from the community, still remembered by items such as Eul's Scepter of Divinity in DOTA and Zhonya's Hourglass in League of Legends. Just as with Aeon of Strife, many variants of the original Defense of the Ancients mod are created, such as DOTA Unforgiven and DOTA Outland. Enter Mian and Ragnar, two modders who took the best parts of every DOTA variant and combined them into one mod release, DOTA All-Stars. Following the release of DOTA All-Stars, Mian and Ragnar followed in Eul's footsteps and also left the community, but their mod lives on through other developers to this day, following along with the changes made to its successor, DOTA 2. 2004/5, Candy War and Extreme Candy War. Blizzard releases their own official take on DOTA, with Candy War and Extreme Candy War, official maps for Warcraft 3 in a Halloween theme, keeping many of the same elements that made DOTA All-Stars so great. Meanwhile, Guinsoo takes over as lead developer on DOTA All-Stars. Feeling the pressure of competition from Blizzard's own Candy War and other popular mods, Guinsoo breathes new life into DOTA All-Stars, adding iconic elements that we now associate with MOBAs like Roshan, the Baron equivalent, item recipes by combining smaller items into bigger ones, and more. In early 2005, Guinsoo steps away from DOTA All-Stars, but much like his predecessor Eul, he is remembered as a founder of the MOBA genre through items such as Guinsoo's Scythe of Vice in DOTA and Guinsoo's Rageblade in League of Legends, though his Scythe was renamed in DOTA 2 to exclude his name as he doesn't work at Valve and works as a competitor. Mid-2005, IceFrog takes over as the lead developer of DOTA All-Stars in Guinsoo's absence. He is focused on a more competitive side of the game and balance and DOTA as an esport. IceFrog supported DOTA for a long time until hired at Valve to work on DOTA 2. 2006, enter League of Legends. Brandon Beck, alias Rise, and March Merrill, alias Tryndamere, launched Riot Games in California in early 2006 with the vision of developing a true competitor to the rising dominance of Defense of the Ancients. They take on Guinsoo to help with development. Progress continued, and in early 2008, close to League's release, the DOTA All-Stars website was hacked to display an ad for League of Legends, bringing widespread attention to the new competitor with a slogan of disconnections, obnoxious hackers, totally imba matches, annoying leavers, and claiming League of Legends would fix all of these problems. This admittedly underhanded tactic was the start of the feud between these two communities. April 14th, 2009, Demigod releases. Demigod releases as the first commercial competitor to DOTA All-Stars, but fails to find its footing. October 27th, 2009, League of Legends releases. League releases to critical acclaim and commercial success, threatening to dethrone DOTA All-Stars. In response, Valve hires IceFrog, League developer of DOTA All-Stars, to work on a sequel. The mod was based on a Blizzard IP, but the idea of DOTA itself was open source and free for anyone, including companies, to use as they saw fit. Blizzard had years to capitalize on the meteoric success of the mod, but never did in a meaningful way. Early 2011, DOTA 2 closed beta launches. The closed beta is a more polished, upgraded version of the original DOTA and a true competitor to the rising dominance of League of Legends. Late 2011, a new competitor emerges. Smite, a third-person action combat take on the genre previously dominated by RTS elements, debuts at PAX Prime 2011. Despite a wholly unique take on the genre, Smite fails to reach even close to the success of League of Legends or DOTA 2, but does establish a small but dedicated player base with strong staying power. December 4th, 2012, Guardians of Middle-earth releases. A Lord of the Rings-inspired take on the traditional MOBA genre, Guardians of Middle-earth releases in 2012 to minor acclaim and sticks around, but fails to find any notable success in the face of League, DOTA 2, and Smite. July 9th, 2013, DOTA 2 officially launches. DOTA 2 officially launches out of beta and slowly gains steam over 2013 and into 2014, but is outpaced by League of Legends in terms of growth. 2014 through 2016, the golden age of MOBAs. DOTA 2's Reborn update upgrades the engine and adds a new client, new content, and more polish. DOTA 2 is consistently setting records for the highest concurrent players ever on Steam at the time, and sets records for the largest esports prize pools ever at the time as well. League of Legends receives a significant visual and gameplay overhaul and modernization, continuing to outpace even Dota 2 in terms of concurrent player numbers. Smite officially launches to minor success and hosts the at the time third largest prize pool esports tournament ever, only behind 2 Dota 2 tournaments. Blizzard finally gets off their ass after losing Dota to Valve and releases Heroes of the Storm, a take on the MOBA genre featuring popular characters from Blizzard IPs like Warcraft, Overwatch, and more. The game releases to moderate success ahead of Smite but well behind the industry titans of League and Dota. In the long run, Heroes of the Storm fails to find the traction it needs. Many other attempts to break into the MOBA genre were made in this golden age, such as by Dawngate from Waystone Games, Fates Forever by Hammer and Chisel, Vainglory by Super Evil Megacorp, Strife by S2 Games, and perhaps most notably Paragon by the at the time fairly unknown developer Epic Games. All of these attempts ultimately failed to find lasting success in the genre when faced down by the giants of League and Dota, and to a much lesser extent, Smite. 2017 through 2024, the stagnation of MOBAs, attempts to innovate, and a renaissance? League and Dota 2 follow a very similar development path in the following years, with each taking ideas, champions, and gameplay elements from the other, with League remaining ahead in the popularity test the vast majority of the time. Smite continues development in its own way and garners a vastly smaller but equally dedicated player base. However, all of these MOBAs would never again reach the heights of popularity that they did in the 2014 through 2016 Golden Age. Though not as many as in the Golden Age, many attempts were still made to break into the MOBA genre as it remains popular to this day. Stagnation does not mean death, and League and Dota still maintain some of the highest player counts in all of gaming. Gigantic entered the scene in 2017 with a fairly unique take on the MOBA genre that combined elements of MOBAs and hero shooters in a third-person perspective. The game launched to mediocre success, failing to surpass even Smite, which is sort of the lower-end boundary for what can be considered a success in the MOBA genre. The game died within a few months of launch. It attempted a relaunch as Gigantic Rampage Edition in 2024, but met the same fate. Battlerite released around the same time, and while it isn't truly a MOBA in the traditional sense, it did carry a lot of the same elements and saw reasonable success on launch, surpassing Smite in terms of peak concurrent players on Steam, but not even putting a dent in the two established kings of the genre. The game, however, struggled to find a lasting audience, and within a year it was all but dead, despite the game technically still running to this day. League of Legends Wild Rift launched in 2020 as a reworked version of the industry titan for mobile and console gamers. It can definitely be considered a success, but does only achieve roughly 1/10 of what the league itself does in terms of monthly players. Pokemon Unite was the first game in years to release into the genre to actually good success, utilizing the most popular IP in the gaming industry to break into the MOBA genre. It achieves concurrent player counts far higher than Smite, but once again proves that even putting a dent in the established titans of League of Dota seems impossible. In 2022, 2 revival projects of the original Paragon came onto the scene in Paragon Overprime and Predecessor. On launch, Overprime appeared to be the more popular of the two, achieving peak player numbers similar to Smite, but quickly died off and was shut down within a year. Predecessor achieved smaller initial success but had more staying power, with the game still running to this day. However, it finds extremely low player numbers, and the best it appears it can hope for at this time is to find a niche in the genre and remain running. In late 2023, rumours begin circulating around a sequel to the long-standing Smite IP, and in early 2024, Smite 2 is revealed to the public, going into alpha testing shortly after. The game remains in alpha today and is struggling to find success. At best, it will likely continue Smite's legacy as a niche game with no threat to the established titans of the genre. And finally, we arrive at the modern day. Pokemon Unite saw a glimpse of a possible MOBA renaissance, but that could be down to the insane popularity of the IP it's working with and how Pokemon is almost a cult in Japan, where most of Unite's players are located. But what if the people behind one of the industry titans made another game in the genre? Enter Deadlock. As of making this video, Deadlock is currently an invite-only closed beta, but its blend of hero shooter mechanics and MOBA mechanics and its high skill ceiling has drawn the eye of many competitive players from across both of these similar genres. There's a lot of hype around the game, and it is bringing true innovation that's needed if it wants to succeed in this highly established genre. If you can't compete directly with League and Dota, make something that's similar enough to attract their players but different enough to be called a new experience. That appears to be the approach of Deadlock at the moment, and is finding a lot of hype and very good success despite being invite only at this time. Could Deadlock herald in the renaissance of MOBAs with innovation? Only time will tell. Thanks for watching.